Welcome, seeker of truth. You have come here not by accident, but because within you lies a restless mind, searching for calm in a world of turmoil. You have failed. Perhaps recently or perhaps many times, but failure is nothing to fear. It is not the end, nor is it a mark of your worth. It is a teacher, and the Stoics have long taught us to listen with care. In the next few minutes, you will see failure differently. You will learn not just to endure it, but to transform it into strength, into clarity, into wisdom. And by the end you may begin to see that failure is the shadow that reveals the light of your character. Understand this first. The world owes you nothing. It never has, and it never will. Expect nothing from chance, from fortune, from people who are as uncertain as the winds. What you can control is your response. This is the core of our teaching. A man may stumble, a plan may collapse, yet your mind, your reason, your soul remains untouched if you let it. Do not seek comfort and praise. Do not demand recognition or reward. Those who fail and despair do so because they have given their power to others. But the Stoic remains steadfast. He measures himself not against the opinions of men, but against his own principles. Let us consider a failure that is sharp and sudden. Perhaps a project you poured your heart into collapses. Perhaps someone you trusted betrays you. The instinct is anger, shame, despair. But reflect, what part of this is truly yours to control? The answer is the smallest fraction. The rest is circumstance. You cannot command the tides, nor the thoughts of another. You can only command your own mind. And here is the key, which most miss. Failure is not a verdict on your soul, but a mirror for your mind. It reflects where you have clung to things beyond your control. It exposes attachment, expectation, and vanity. The first step is to look honestly at this reflection without fear, without flinching. Do not soften the truth with excuses, but do not punish yourself with hatred. Observe, learn, adjust. Marcus Aurelius once wrote to himself, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Remember this. Every failure carries within it the seed of freedom. Because when the world turns against you, when the plan crumbles, the mind that does not cling to what is lost remains whole. And that is victory now. Consider the stories of those who have walked before you. Epictetus, born into chains, a slave, yet a philosopher whose words endure for centuries. Seneca, exiled, persecuted, yet the clarity of his mind never wavered. They did not measure themselves by wealth, by fortune, by applause. They measured themselves by virtue, by reason, by courage. And this is what failure teaches, that life may strip you of everything external, yet it cannot strip you of your character unless you allow it. Feel the discomfort now. Do not flee it. Embrace it as a teacher. Sit with it. Ask, what do I truly control here? The answer will often surprise you, for it will be smaller than you imagined. And yet, in that small realm lies immense freedom. Imagine your mind as a fortress. External events may batter the walls, may attempt to breach them, but the gates of reason remain under your command. This is the Stoic ideal, to be unshaken, not because the world is kind, but because your mind is disciplined. Every failure, every disappointment, every rejection is an exercise in this discipline. See it this way. The universe is not your enemy. It is indifferent. Indifference is not cruelty. It is opportunity. It gives you the chance to choose how you respond, moment by moment. Now let us speak of judgment. Do not judge yourself harshly. Do not allow shame to linger. Do not measure your worth by the missteps of a single day. A failure is a single note in a symphony, not the symphony itself. And what matters is how you play the next note. Consider your attachments. We often fail because we have bound our happiness to external things, money, approval, power, or the fleeting affection of others. When these are lost, despair follows. But the Stoic asks, what is truly mine? The answer is simple. Your reason, your judgment, your virtue. Everything else is borrowed, temporary, subject to change. Let this sink in. A man who has nothing external, yet possesses a disciplined mind, is rich beyond measure. A man with wealth, praise, and position, yet ruled by impulse and desire, is poor even in abundance. Failure teaches us where our true wealth lies. Let us go deeper. Failure is also a teacher of humility. It strips away pretense and forces honesty. It reminds us that we are not omnipotent, that we are not gods. It forces us to face our limitations. But in this confrontation lies clarity. When you accept your limits, you can act wisely within them. You can focus your energy where it truly matters, and this is not defeat. This is wisdom. Do not fear criticism or mockery. The crowd is fleeting. It applauds one day, jeers the next. The Stoic builds his foundation on something unshakable. your mind, your soul, your reason. If they are intact, no failure, no insult, no misfortune can diminish you. Think of life as a journey through a storm. Waves will crash. Lightning will strike. The storm will rage. You cannot command the storm. You cannot predict every gust of wind. But you can command your vessel. You can steady the helm, trim the sails, and navigate through the chaos. Every failure, every trial, is a wave testing your skill, your resolve, your courage. Now, hear this. Regret is wasted energy. Do not waste breath lamenting what has already occurred. Do not gnaw at what cannot be changed. The past is immutable. The future is uncertain. The present is all you possess. Here, now, you can act virtuously. Here, now, you can choose courage over despair, clarity over confusion, reason over impulse. Consider this exercise. When a failure strikes, pause, step back, breathe, label the event for what it is. A change in circumstance, an external blow. Do not call it tragedy. Do not call it injustice. Call it opportunity. The universe offering you a chance to practice virtue, patience, and resilience. Every failure thus becomes a lesson in mastery over the self. Let us also consider the role of expectations. Much of human suffering comes from expecting the world to conform to our desires. Failure occurs when reality does not align with these expectations. The Stoic asks, why must the world bend to my will? Instead, bend your mind to the world. Align yourself with what is, not what you wish it to be. This does not mean passivity. It means clarity. It means accepting the facts without illusion and acting within them with wisdom. And what of courage? Do not shrink from the discomfort of failure. Do not hide from the awkwardness, the shame, the fear. Face it, meet it as a soldier meets the battlefield. Every failure encountered without surrender strengthens the soul. Every fear confronted and endured becomes a new pillar of your character. Now, a word on persistence. The Stoic does not abandon his path because of setbacks. He does not seek easy victories. He understands that mastery comes through struggle, that excellence is forged in adversity, that the mind grows resilient not in comfort, but in the challenge of failure. And so, when failure comes, do not ask, why me? Ask instead, what can I learn? How can I act better? Where's my judgment clouded, and how can I clear it? The answers are never easy, but they are always within reach. And in seeking them, you reclaim your power. You shift from victim to student, from despair to engagement. This is the essence of Stoic practice: to see clearly, act rightly, and remain undisturbed by what lies beyond your control. Failure is a mirror, not a jailer. It reflects truth, not condemnation. It points the way. If you are willing to walk it, you must understand that failure is the most faithful teacher you will ever meet. It does not flatter you. It does not deceive you with comfort. It does not whisper illusions into your ear. It speaks plainly, sometimes harshly, always truthfully. It says, here is where you are weak. Here is where your assumptions were wrong. Here is where you were not prepared. And if you listen, you will not be defeated, you will be sharpened. But most turn away. They cannot bear the sting. They cover failure with excuses, with anger, with despair. They miss the treasure hidden in the pain. Do not be among them. Stand firm, look failure in the eyes. Say, teach me. When you fail, you are not being punished, you are being refined. Think of the blacksmith hammering the iron. With every strike, the metal grows stronger, more resilient, more useful. So too with your soul. Without the hammering of failure, without the fire of difficulty, you remain soft, fragile, unprepared for the weight of life. You must not compare your failures to the victories of others. Comparison is poison. The Stoic knows that each man walks his own path, at his own pace, through his own trials. What matters is not whether you appear successful to others, but whether you remain true to yourself. Your failures are your own. Your lessons are your own. Your growth is your own. Be content in that. Do not imagine that success will make you invulnerable. Success is as fleeting as morning mist. It can be taken from you in a moment. What remains is the character you built through failure, the discipline of your mind, the clarity of your reason, the strength of your virtue. This is the wealth no fortune can strip from you. Perhaps you say, but the pain of failure is unbearable. It burns, it humiliates, it leaves scars. And yet, what is unbearable is not the event itself, but your judgment of it. You call it tragedy, and so it becomes tragedy. You call it disaster, and so it becomes disaster. But call it lesson, call it practice, call it fuel, and it transforms. You hold the power of naming. Use it wisely. Imagine a man who trips on a stone in the road. If he curses the stone, he wastes his energy. If he studies the road, steadies his step, and learns to walk more carefully, the stone becomes his teacher. So it is with failure. Every stumble is a chance to walk more wisely. Do not despise small failures. Do not overlook them. Each carries a seed of wisdom. Perhaps you failed to control your anger. Perhaps you failed to keep a promise. Perhaps you failed to act when action was needed. These are not trivial. They reveal the cracks in your discipline. Attend to them. Seal them with practice. Day by day, stone by stone, you fortify your character. The Stoics remind us, virtue is not built in a single grand act, but in countless small choices. Failure in these small things is the compass pointing you back to the path. Do not ignore it. Walk with awareness. Now consider another truth. Failure is not final. Life continues. The river flows. What you call failure today may prove tomorrow to be a turning point, a hidden gift. How often in life do we discover, only in hindsight, that what seemed loss was in fact liberation, that what closed one door opened another, better one. The Stoic trusts this process. He does not demand to see the full pattern at once. He accepts that the universe is vast, his vision limited, and that what feels bitter now may nourish him in time. Do not cling to what has passed. Do not freeze yourself in regret. Move forward. Carry the lesson, not the weight. Let the past inform you, not imprison you. You may ask, how then should I face failure? I answer, face it as a Stoic faces every challenge, with calm, with courage, with discipline, with reason. Pause before reacting. Breathe before speaking. Reflect before judging. Ask, is this within my control? If yes, act with clarity. If no, release it. Do not waste your life wrestling shadows you cannot touch. This practice is not easy. It is not done once and complete forever. It is daily work, a lifelong exercise. But it is the work that sets you free. The chains of fear, of regret, of despair, fall away when you master this discipline. Remember, the world will not always applaud you. It will not always reward your effort. Often it will seem indifferent. Yet your task is not to win applause, but to act rightly. Virtue is its own reward. To live with integrity, to act with courage, to endure with patience. This is success beyond the reach of fortune. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I wish to be? Do you wish to be fragile, broken by every misstep? Or do you wish to be resilient, growing stronger with each test? The choice is yours. Every failure offers you this choice. Every moment of pain is a chance to practice. Hear this well. Life is not measured by victories alone, but by how you endure defeats. The Stoic is not unscarred. He is scarred deeply, but he wears those scars with honor. For each mark tells a story of resilience, of lessons learned, of battles fought and endured. Failure is not the end of his story, it is the ink with which the story is written. When you fall, rise with dignity. Rise not in anger, not in self-pity, but in calm determination. Say to yourself, this is the path. This stumble is part of the way. It has not broken me, it has built me. Do not wait for the world to grant you peace. It never will. Peace is an inward act, a discipline of the mind. When failure strikes, close the gates of your mind against despair. Do not let external blows wound your reason. Guard your inner fortress. Stand tall within yourself, and when you feel overwhelmed, when the weight is too heavy, return to simplicity. Ask what is required of me in this moment. Perhaps only to breathe, perhaps only to take a single step forward, perhaps only to remain silent and endure. Small acts, repeated with discipline, carry you through storms. Remember that failure humbles the proud, strengthens the patient, and refines the wise. It is not your enemy. It is your instructor. Welcome it, even as it stings. Learn and grow, and know that every time you rise again, you become more unshakable, more free, more alive. You are not defined by what you lose. You are defined by what you choose. Choose wisdom. Choose courage. Choose to stand when all else falls. This is the way of the Stoic. This is how we deal with failure. Not with despair, not with self-pity, but with calm eyes, a steady heart, and a mind disciplined in truth. And in this way, failure itself becomes success. You have listened with patience, and now we must go deeper. Failure is not merely a moment to endure. It is a mirror that shows you who you are when the world strips away illusion. It is in these moments that the soul is revealed. You may appear strong when fortune smiles, but only when fortune turns against you do we see your true strength. A man who stands unshaken in failure possesses a wealth no gold can purchase. Think carefully on this. What do you fear most when you fail? Is it the loss itself, or is it the judgment of others? Most will admit, if they are honest, that it is not the fall that terrifies them, but the eyes of those who watch, the whispering, the laughter, the disappointment. But why should this disturb you? The opinions of others are beyond your command. They come and go like passing shadows. If you build your peace on them, you are forever their prisoner. Free yourself. Care only for your own reason, your own virtue, your own judgment. The Stoic says, no one can shame you without your consent. If you do not accept their insult, it vanishes like smoke. If you do not grant their words power, they are powerless. Therefore, let your failures be yours alone, not a performance for others, but a lesson for your soul. Consider how often you replay your failures in your mind, torturing yourself with what if and if only. This is wasted life. The past cannot be reshaped, the future cannot be guaranteed. Only this moment, right now, is in your care. Why poison it with regret? Why cloud it with shame? You hold in your hands the present, the most precious of gifts, yet you throw it away to dwell on ghosts. When you fail, do not speak of punishment. Do not speak of injustice. Speak only of reality. Say, this is what has happened. This is what is true. From here I will act with reason. This is the discipline of perception. To see clearly, without exaggeration, without distortion, without the fog of despair. To see not tragedy, but fact. To say, I have lost this, but I remain. I have stumbled here, but I can walk again. This clarity is freedom. You must also learn to separate yourself from the outcome. The Stoic does not cling to victory as proof of worth, nor to failure as proof of weakness. Both are outcomes. Both belong to fortune. What belongs to you is the effort, the intention, the virtue you bring to your actions. If you acted with honesty, with courage, with discipline, then you have succeeded already, no matter what fortune decrees. And if fortune brings failure, then you receive it with calm. As one receives rain upon the field it was never yours to control. Let us speak of resilience. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the choice to rise despite pain. It is the art of standing tall when the storm rages. Do not think the Stoics were made of stone. They too felt sorrow, disappointment, fear. But they trained themselves to master these emotions, not to be mastered by them. They felt the sting of failure, but they did not let it rule them. They returned always to reason. When failure comes, train yourself to respond with 3 questions. What part of this is within my control? What part is not? What is the most virtuous action I can take now? If you answer honestly, you will find your way forward. Do not be seduced by self-pity. It whispers that you are a victim, that life has singled you out, that fortune is cruel. This is illusion. Life is not cruel. It is indifferent. The same sun that warms your face burns the desert. The same rain that nourishes crops floods the valley. The universe is not against you. It simply is. Your task is not to curse it, but to align yourself with it, to act wisely within it, to make virtue your compass, not comfort. Think of athletes training for battle or competition. They do not grow stronger through ease, but through resistance. The weight resists the body, and the body grows stronger. So it is with the soul. Failure is resistance. It strengthens you if you face it with discipline. Every rejection, every mistake, every loss is a weight that, if lifted with courage, makes you stronger. Reflect on this exercise. Each evening, examine your failures of the day, not with cruelty, not with shame, but with honesty. Ask, where did I fail to act with courage? Where did I fail to control my anger, my fear, my desire? Write them down if you must. Then, plan how you will face them tomorrow. This is how you transform failure into wisdom. Day by day, review by review, you sharpen your soul, and remember, no failure is wasted if it teaches you. Even the gravest mistakes can become stepping stones if they reveal truth. The only true failure is to learn nothing, to remain blind, to repeat the same folly again and again. That is slavery. But to fall, to rise, to adjust, to grow, this is freedom. The Stoic accepts failure as part of nature. He knows that no man walks through life without stumbling. To expect otherwise is to demand the impossible. Would you demand the sea never rise? Would you demand the wind never blow? Then why demand that you never falter? Accept your humanity. Forgive yourself, but do not excuse yourself. Learn and walk on. Now let us speak of courage and failure. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act rightly despite fear. When you fail, you fear trying again. You fear repeating the pain, the shame, the disappointment. But if you shrink from action, you surrender twice, first to the failure, then to fear itself. Courage is to rise and act again, knowing you may stumble, yet refusing to yield. This courage is the foundation of growth. Seneca reminds us, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Take this to heart. You are being polished. Every failure is friction shaping you into something more refined, more resilient, more true. Do not resist the process. Endure it and shine. Do not confuse patience with passivity. Patience is not surrender, it is strength held steady. It is the refusal to be shaken by what takes time. When you fail, do not demand instant recovery. Do not demand that wounds vanish in a day. Heal with patience, grow with patience, progress with patience. The oak does not rise in a single season, nor does wisdom. And what of others who fail? Here too, you must practice Stoic virtue. Do not scorn them, do not mock them. You share the same condition, the same fragility, the same struggle. Extend compassion, help where you can, encourage where you are able. For as you forgive them, you learn to forgive yourself. And as you support them, you strengthen the bond of human fellowship. Failure, then, is not only personal, it is universal. All men fail, all women fail, all who live and strive will stumble. Therefore, why should you be ashamed? You are not alone. You are part of the human story, and to walk this story with dignity, to embrace its trials without bitterness, is the essence of Stoic living. Now let us consider a deeper practice, the premeditation of adversity. The Stoic imagines failure before it arrives. He rehearses loss in his mind, not to despair, but to prepare. He says, this plan may fail, this friend, they betray me, this body may weaken, and when such things occur he is not broken, for he has already walked the path in thought. He is ready. This practice frees you from shock, from panic, from despair. You are no longer surprised when life unfolds as it always has unpredictably. Instead, you meet it with calm acceptance. Do not misunderstand, this is not pessimism, it is clarity. The pessimist sees only darkness, the Stoic sees both darkness and light, and prepares for both. When failure comes, he is steady. When success comes, he is grateful. In both he remains free. And now reflect on this truth. Nothing external can truly harm you. Only your own judgment, your own choices, your own surrender can do that. Fire can burn your body, but not your integrity. Loss can take your wealth, but not your virtue. Failure can shatter your plans, but not your will unless you permit it. Therefore, guard your will, guard your reason, guard the inner citadel. There lies your true self, untouched by fortune. Let me leave you now with this image. You stand in a storm. The winds howl. The rain lashes your face. Lightning splits the sky. Around you, the world is chaos. But within you, there is a flame, steady, unyielding. That flame is your reason, your virtue, your courage. If you guard it, it cannot be extinguished. Not by failure, not by loss, not by the fury of life itself. Tend it always, protect it always, live by it always, for in the end, you will see, failure was never your enemy. It was the storm that taught you to shelter your flame. It was the weight that gave you strength. It was the teacher that showed you who you are. You have walked with me through the lessons of failure. You have seen how it humbles, how it refines, how it reveals. Now you must learn how to live with it, not as an intruder to be feared, but as a companion that walks beside you on the road of life. Do not imagine that you will reach a place where failure no longer comes. This is illusion. As long as you live, as long as you strive, as long as you love, you will encounter it again and again. And this is not tragedy, it is necessity. For without failure, there is no growth. Without failure, there is no wisdom. Without failure, there is no true strength of character. So let us speak of mastery. Mastery is not the absence of failure, but the art of using it. The master is not the one who never falls, but the one who always rises with more clarity than before. Every fall is a lesson. Every loss is a teacher. Every disappointment is an opportunity to practice virtue. Think now of Marcus Aurelius. He was emperor, yet plagued by failure in war, in politics, in family. He did not rule a perfect empire. He did not live a perfect life, but he ruled himself. He mastered his own thoughts, his own judgments, his own choices. And because of this, his wisdom endures when his empire has long turned to dust. Ask yourself, what do I wish to endure after me? Is it wealth that vanishes? Is it applause that fades? Is it perfection that is impossible? Or is it virtue? Is it strength? Is it wisdom? These are within your reach. These are eternal. So when you fail, do not say, I am ruined. Say instead, I am being trained. The world is sharpening me. The universe, it is shaping me. I may stumble, but I remain. I may lose, but I learn. I may fall, but I rise. Now let us return to courage. You may hesitate to try again, fearing another fall. But what is the cost of fear? It is the loss of life itself. Better to fail with courage than to waste life in timidity. Better to attempt with integrity than to sit idle in safety. For the safe man dies many times in regret, while the courageous man lives fully, even in failure. Do not delay. Do not say, tomorrow I will begin again. Begin now. Rise now. Act now. For tomorrow is uncertain. But this moment is yours. Do not waste it in hesitation. Failure also teaches gratitude. When all is taken, you learn to treasure what remains. When plans collapse, you learn the value of each small step. When dreams shatter, you learn the gift of simply breathing, of simply existing, of simply being able to try again. Gratitude transforms failure into freedom. It reminds you that though fortune may strip you, you are never truly empty, for life itself remains. Consider this: each time you rise from failure, you inspire others. Your scars become a map for those who walk after you. Your endurance becomes a lantern for those still in darkness. By living with courage, you not only free yourself, you strengthen the human fellowship. Therefore, do not hide your failures. Do not pretend to be unbroken. Share them. Speak of them with honesty, with humility, with wisdom. For in doing so, you remind others that they too can rise, that they too are not alone, that they too can grow. And so, my student, you must practice daily. When failure comes, breathe. When shame whispers, release it. When fear paralyzes, act anyway. When regret calls, close the door. Turn always to what is in your control. Turn always to virtue. Turn always to reason. This is the way now. Hear this final truth. You will fail again, and again, and again, but you will not be broken unless you choose to break. You will not be defeated unless you choose to surrender. You will not be worthless unless you measure worth by illusions. Failure will come, but so will strength, so will wisdom, so will clarity. And with each failure, you become more unshakable. When you next stumble, do not despair. Remember these words. Remember that you are not alone, that countless souls before you have walked this same path. Remember that failure is not the end, but the beginning. Rise with calm, rise with courage, rise with dignity, and walk forward, one step, then another. And now, if these words have touched your heart, if they have helped you to see failure in a new light, then share your thoughts with me. Leave a comment, speak of a time you failed, and what it taught you. Your words may guide another as mine have guided you. If you find strength here, subscribe, and let us continue walking this path of wisdom together. If you know someone struggling with failure, share this with them, so that they too may learn to rise with courage. Remember, you are not defined by what you lose. You are defined by what you choose, and you can always choose courage, you can always choose wisdom, you can always choose to rise again. Walk forward, student of wisdom. Carry your failures with calm, turn them into teachers, and know, always, that the flame of your reason cannot be extinguished, not by failure, not by loss, not by anything the world can throw against you. This is how to deal with failure like a Stoic, not with despair, not with self-pity, but with calm, with courage, with clarity, and with an unshakable spirit. And so, walk on.